The internet is turning us into horrible people. Social media is making us antisocial. Kristy. We'd rather look at our phones than at each other.
Not really.
Not really. And our mission here today as social media experts is to illustrate to you just how not true this is. In our work at Clever Girls, we function as social media anthropologists. We need to understand how people behave online. We need to understand how all of you, in order for us to stay in business, we have to be able to predict how all of you will behave on all of these social media channels.
How many of you wake up in the morning and check your phone before having a conversation with a human being in your household?
Yeah, we know.
Right, and we laugh, and we feel a little ashamed about this because logically, we think that that means we're choosing technology over human relationships. We get reports all the time telling us that social media is making us antisocial and that we're addicted to technology and we're addicted to our phones. And in our line of work, we get reports all the time about how many hours people are spending on Facebook and how women are using Pinterest and that Snapchat is ruining our teenagers. And Instagram has ushered in an era of unprecedented narcissism. All of these reports are talking about the what of social media. They're talking about what happens. They don't talk about why. And we're here to talk about the why because we don't think that that's true at all.
Nope.
We don't think that this is about narcissism. We don't think that selfies are we don't take selfies just because we like looking at ourselves.
Although we do like looking at ourselves.
We really do. But there's more to it. We believe that when you use technology to access social media, that you're not choosing technology over human relationships, that that's the same thing, and that's fantastic.
It is. It is. Kristy and I and our team spend our days trying to understand the why of social media. And we can tell you that people are not logging in to get away from the world and drop out of society. It's just the opposite. People are logging in to participate. We log in and share updates when we're happy, and we want people to know about it, or when we're sad, and we want to ask for some support, or when we're lonely, and we need to feel less alone. We log in to connect with the world. And good social media experts will tell you that social media is about connecting and stories. And we are lucky enough to live in a time when our technology has caught up to the point where we get to participate in the stories as they're happening. We get to be in it, in history. So you and you and you and you, if you're tweeting right now with the TEDxNapa hashtag, you're part of the story. You are part of history right now with us.
You're part of this presentation.
Yeah. And we collectively love that. As human beings, we crave this connection. And so when we log in to say hello to our friends and to get the status updates back and to have them say hello back, it's because we want to be with our friends, however you define the word friends.
So we know this. We live and breathe and believe that there is something larger than us being addicted to our phone, that there is this larger concept of participation motivating us to engage in social media. We luckily had the opportunity to prove it with the ultimate case study being the story of BatKid. BatKid really illustrated just how much technology is used to access social media, but social media is really social. And that we are motivated by this idea of global participation. What should have been and was expected to be a small local event and a small local story became a global phenomenon because people want to be part of good stories. Miles, BatKid, his story went viral in real time just through the use of hashtags.
So here's the story of how BatKid happened online. On November 6th, our co-founder Stefania was fooling around on Reddit and noticed a story that was interesting for a few reasons. The first was that somehow the Make-A-Wish Foundation had convinced the city of San Francisco to allow itself to be turned into Gotham for the day, to make the wish come true of a 5-year-old boy in remission from leukemia. He wanted to fight crime for the day. Great, awesome, right? The second point was that people were invited to join in and help Miles out, so cheer him on the streets when he's fighting crime, and then afterwards come to City Hall and cheer him on as he received the key to the city. Awesome, awesome, awesome. The third thing that really caught Stefania's eye was that this was happening in 9 days. And they really hoped that, if you're reading this Reddit story, that you could help us spread the word and maybe get some people down there and help out. Now, Stefania immediately recognized the story and reached out to Patricia Wilson, who is the fantastic executive director of the Bay Area chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Stefania offered up our services, and we're very glad that she accepted. We knew that this was going to be an amazing event in real life, because let's be honest, San Francisco likes nothing more than to dress up and play make-believe for the day.
True story.
True. We also knew that we could help with our network of online participators because they would connect with the story and they would be excited to help out, especially for such a good cause. And that is just what happened. Yeah.
It is. So it went from this kind of hidden story on Reddit where a few days before the event, the Make-A-Wish website has a volunteer counter, and 200 people had signed up to say they would go and witness Miles' big day. We started pushing the message out. We used hashtag #SFBatKid through Facebook and Twitter. And while we won't get into the mechanics of what we did, because that's boring, what happened was our network liked the story, and they passed it to their networks, who passed it to their networks. Everyone loved the story. The day of the event, 16,000 people had signed up to volunteer to be there to cheer Miles on. The morning of the event, so this is now November 15th, I woke up and checked my phone and saw that before 7 a.m., #SFBatKid was trending #1 in the world. So what went from a very local story was now a national story. And this is incredible because the BatKid team was not yet on the ground. That hadn't happened yet. So there was so much excitement for this story that it became a national story almost immediately. That meant that national news stations were picking up the story and starting to report on it. So that's to us when the social media magic really kicked in, because once cable news networks were covering the story, it would have been really easy to get the story from traditional means. Instead, everybody went to Twitter, and they went to Twitter for 2 reasons. The first reason was because that's where the story was originating. Our team was on the ground with BatKid, and they were taking pictures and tweeting things as they were happening and telling people what was coming next. It was really exciting, and that was where the real story was. It wasn't being reported on after the fact. The other reason Twitter was so compelling is because once you're on Twitter and you're tweeting about this and you say, "Go BatKid," you're now part of the story. You are now part of what's happening online as it's happening, and that is really powerful. That is really exciting. So, social media caught on, and our favorite moment of the morning was when BatKid finally arrived on the scene to rescue a damsel in distress. And one of our staff members, Sarah, took a picture of him on his way. She sent it to us. We were back in the Batcave, working behind the scenes. She sent it to, we're working with a Twitter volunteer who then posted it to the Make-A-Wish handle, and the picture took off. That's when we really felt how many people were paying attention to this story. Within 30 minutes, The image was retweeted by the President of the United States.
Way to go, Miles. Way to save Gotham.
Yeah. Wow, okay. So there was a little bit of pressure on us now to keep the story going. Alrighty then. But notable that, he didn't go to CNN to talk about BatKid, he came to Twitter. And so this was all happening. Social media followed along as Miles then stopped the Riddler in a bank heist. He rescued the Giants mascot, Lucille, from the Penguin, who had also been tweeting all day long, and then headed back to City Hall to receive the key to the city. As we said, before we got word of this, 200 people had signed up to be part of Miles's big day. By the time they showed up at City Hall, there were 25,000 people waiting for him.
Thank you.
Of course, online, those numbers were a lot different. There were 40,000 times as many people touched by the story online. There were over 500,000 tweets of love and support. We talk in impressions in our work. Miles's story, BatKid, SF BatKid, hit almost 2 billion impressions.
Billion.
We got tweets from the President of the United States and CNN and companies and celebrities and politicians and countries. It was insane. At the end of the day, 117 countries tweeted about this story, and we even got a tweet from outer space.
So, okay, what is the hashtag BatKid story? To us, it's a reminder to always believe in the power of the social media why. We are addicted to our social media tools, because we want to connect and participate and be part of the story wherever in the world it begins. People aren't logging in to get away from the world and to escape. It's where the world is. And so
we want to inspire you to unabashedly log in. And if you are feeling perhaps a little guilty about that, just think about your why. It's really kind of simple, just to think about what's compelling you to do that. Maybe you need some love or support, or maybe it's really easy to offer some love or support back. Just think about why it is that you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, we are not all fighting the same kind of struggles as a 5-year-old cancer survivor. But you know what? Everyone has struggles. And you have the tools at your disposal to change a life just by logging on, connecting, participating, and being human.
Just because it's virtual doesn't mean it's not real. BatKid was meaningful. Logging in is meaningful. So again, we invite you to log in, use hashtags, go crazy, cheer someone up or cheer someone on.
Tell stories and become part of history.
Thank you.
Thank you.